this week's episode. I'm Helen, and with me are Heather and Ruby, and we are the Muses. Today's topic is the bubble, or more importantly, how to break out of it. Let's start with Ruby. What do you have to say?
Oh man, the bubble has been always talked about in my inner circle of geek friends, where it's, especially my guy geek friends, they're like, oh, I know she's a geek girl. And I'm like, how do you know? And she just doesn't shut up. You know, I'm like, oh, great. You know, like, really, do I do that? And then I catch myself actually doing that.
It's all about the me aspect, or what I like.
Exactly.
You know?
It's across the board. It's not prevalent in any one particular
Exactly,
thing.
yeah.
You know, I think it's more of a particular thing, not necessarily specific to geeks, but it's very prevalent within just geeks themselves.
Yeah, it's
to be obsessed.
You know, you may be, going off on a tangent about the lineage of some aliens, monarchs, family tree and everything.
Game of Thrones, get it right. Game of Thrones. Just get it right.
Yeah, and unless you're like really, really into Game of Thrones or something like that, you're not necessarily going to get it. And so, it's to the point where like you're going off on this, and the other person's just like, I'm lost. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, but I mean, you can have a bubble, I guess. It's just like, is your bubble dirty or is it clear? Like, can you see the other person's point of view while still keeping your own little thing going on? Like, there is
you're not even
paying attention. You're just clouding your own self. But what about the ones who are just like, they stand there and stare at you like, well, I don't know what else to talk to you about.
Well, you see, as a people, I find myself.
Can we still talk about Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
You get my point, people.
As a people person myself, because my husband's the introvert and I'm the extrovert in that relationship. But when somebody gets like that, I'm like, what are you into?
Yeah.
It's a simple question that nobody asks. Like, what are you into? Like, maybe they have some other geekdom or nerdom or whatever you want to call it. And, that's going to spark a conversation. And then you'll be interested in something that they want to talk about.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like, even when you're asked, like, like, what are you into? Don't go through, like, your entire encyclopedia of it. That's not what we're talking about.
Wait. Here's my box of comic books. Okay, Daredevil? No?
Rolodex?
Okay. Spider-Man?
Yeah.
DC, Batman? No?
Archie!
What? Batman? You don't like Batman? Come on. It's just like, sometimes I've found interest in certain things that my husband's not into.
Does he get as obsessed as you do, though?
Oh, there has been times where we were dating and he just did not want to stop talking about Doctor Who. Now, I like Doctor Who, okay? But he is fourth Doctor Who, older generation Doctor Who. I'm ninth generation, ninth reincarnation of Doctor Who. So I'm a new Who. But, there's times where he's all like, oh, these new Who's all talking about how cute David Tennant is. And I'm like...
But he is.
Yeah.
But I do find the joy in Doctor Who and going in time and space and all that good stuff and dimensions and stuff. But he was closing, I felt like he was putting himself in this bubble when he was saying things like that.
Well, you want to have constructive arguments about, certain genres and everything like that, because it also helps you learn more about that geeky thing that you love, and put in nice little spin on it. So it's that's why I mean, like, you don't have to pop your bubble. No, you know what I'm saying?
You don't.
Just clean it up a bit.
Yeah. And I think the number one thing when it comes to this and everything, like, you may be talking to someone and you're just constantly going on and on about it, but you have to pause and think, like, do I still have their attention? Are they still really interested in me and everything?
Yeah.
So, like, the number one thing that you have to do when you find yourself doing like that is to pause and remind yourself to listen to what the other person is doing.
Yeah.
Or what their interests are. Just like, it's great, like I was saying, it's great to have your own interests and to talk about them. We're not saying don't talk about your interests at all.
Right. Yeah.
It's pause and make sure that you listen to the other person, especially if like you're on a first date or something like that. You know, you don't want to be like having, you know, sitting down at a nice Italian restaurant and then only hear about the Klingons from, you know, the person sitting across from you, and just like, okay, well, I want to talk about this thing. So it's just like, you know, you can see it with other people, and you've probably had conversations with other people where they've just gone on and on and on, just like, can I get a word in edgewise? So recognize when you have to listen to the other person if you're the one who's doing all of the talking. You know, you're having a conversation, you're not giving a lecture.
Exactly.
Basically. Okay, so let's go to advice to the girls with Ruby.
Okay, you know that when you complain about guys not listening to you, yeah, you do it too, okay? Stop, think, and say, has he actually had any chance to say anything? I mean, seriously, it's just one of those things that you got to think about. I do it all the time. I do it with my husband. I do it with his friends, guy friends, girlfriends, whatever. It's all about keeping the flow of communication going. It's not about just you and what you're interested. It's about what the guy is interested too. I mean, maybe he has a spin on something that you might like, maybe a positive spin, maybe a negative spin. You never know. Maybe that will bring him out of his shell. Geek guys are very nervous, you know, that's all I'm saying.
And now for advice to the guys, let's go to Heather.
Yeah, just sit back, listen, take the cues. When that girl like pauses, you can interject there, you know, and maybe ask a question. You don't actually have to like compete of like, well, my geekdom is better than your geekdom, and stay in that little dirty bubble of yours. I'm not saying pop it though.
Yeah.
But definitely clean it up a bit, like I said before, and you'll be able to actually have a good conversation, back and forth, laugh a little, you know.
Maybe she'll feel
the good vibes.
Yeah.
You know.
That's how I got into Aquaman. Unfortunately, my husband did turn me.
I'm gonna get you into Game of Thrones.
I love Game of Thrones.
Oh my God, I love you.
I know. let's make out.
Hey now.
Yeah.
It's gone to that point.
Yeah.
And that's our episode. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe.
And like.
Always like us. And if you would like to find a geek of your own, please go to soulgeek.com. Thank you for watching.
Bye. Ruby, let's go. Yeah. You're serious about it?
Yeah.
All right, come on.